Yo guys, it's John here with Option Lab. In this video, I'm going to be going through what an 83K week looks like. I'm going to show you every single trade I took. I track all my trades. Not only that, I'm going to show you how you can implement it into your own account, and I'm going to make it short and sweet. So if you stay for the whole thing, you're going to leave with some value. So before I get anybody clowning me in the comments saying, you didn't make 2 million in 2024, blah, 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 I'm going to refresh my account so you guys can see 2024. Let's see if it loads. Yeah, so roughly 2.1. It's a few days late, but you get the idea. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video is a lot of you guys who joined my free Discord. By the way, I'm getting so many joins now, and so many of you are asking for me to send my newsletter, like send a sample. So what I'm doing is I'm opening up a 3-day free trial. If you go down in the description and click my website, it gives you a free 3-day trial to my newsletter where I send out all my trades, as well as getting you in the free Discord. Not only that, if you do sign up for the free trial, I have a 15-page option selling cheat sheet that's going to explain exactly how I do everything I talk about in this video. So an 83K week was obviously an exceptional week, right? So you might be asking, what theta strategies am I using to make this happen? Because I sell option premium, and the strategy that I was using was I was selling naked puts and covered calls under a 30 delta, meaning the trades were 70+% probability. And I was writing covered calls on the assigned shares if I was assigned on the puts, and then repeating this process. So very simple, right? If you guys are new to option premium selling, the basic idea is that if you have a stock, typically I'm looking for high IV stocks that are going down, and I'm selling puts below where they're already at, predicting some kind of reversal. Or if I feel like I could get the stock at a discount, I'm selling a put to then average into a longer term position on the stock. And then once I own it, I'm writing covered calls and making money on the stock going up in value. So yeah, covered this. All that's in the description. So let's actually look at the trades I took. So if you guys don't know, I literally track every single trade I take on this massive spreadsheet. I sent it to some of you guys. What are the actual trades that made me 83K in this week? So let's first go through the puts, right? Because that doesn't have any of the equities that I owned that I was just writing calls on. Because some of that money is shares I already own long term, and then I'm writing cover calls on. So for the puts, you're going to notice these are not the reason this week was particularly juiced is because there was just so much opportunity with high IV stocks such as MSTR and SMCI that I was able to collect so much premium. So if you guys are not familiar, essentially what I'm doing when I write puts on, the reason I'm writing puts on high IV stocks is because when IV is high, option premium is higher, and as a net seller, right, not a buyer, I want to receive more money for writing that put and the risk I'm taking. So that week on MSTR, for example, Bitcoin was moving like crazy. This is the week of 12/6, by the way. Bitcoin was just moving like crazy. So obviously IV was high. I was going super far out of the money, like 0.10 delta. In other words, 90% probability of profit. FedEx, the reason I was in FedEx was because there was an earnings report. So I have a scanner that, essentially scans for positions that have either events coming up or earnings, and FedEx was on that list. So that was super far out of the money again. Let's keep going. So again, more MSTR. As you can see, I'm collecting a good amount of premium, and a lot of these are minus 10 contracts. So if you guys are trading a smaller account, there is ways that you can still play this, right? So instead of selling a naked put, you can create what's called a bull put spread or what's called an iron condor, where it turns these trades from trades that require a lot of capital and have risk to a defined risk, defined reward trade. So Abercrombie and Fitch, this was a great one, by the way. Showed up on my scanner on my Bloomberg terminal and wrote those puts. That was free money. There was an upcoming earnings, and it was strong going into the holiday season. There was a lot of online ordering, so I felt pretty good about that one. APLD, to be honest, this was one of my, kind of like shit stocks I just played with. Don't follow that one, by the way. But it actually ended up working out pretty well for me. I have a high risk scanner that kind of like shows me the juiciest possible plays that also have a significant amount of risk. And then lastly, SMCI. So there was this whole thing about it getting taken off, the index, and essentially there was also some problems with their accounting and everything like that. I think that was that week. I can't really remember, but this was a cheaper stock, and I was doing some research. Some pretty big firms like SIG Group were taking sizable positions, what seemed to be like a bet that it was going to recover, and it did. So this was a very good trade, and even if I were to be assigned, I wouldn't have mind owning it. So as you can see here, generally speaking, higher IV stocks that week, but it's not always like that. So calls. So on the call side, I was writing again a ton of MSTR, as you can see. And the reason being, like I said, if a stock has high IV and it's volatile, like MSTR, what I'm looking at is the call premium is going to be high, so I can write a naked call and I could write a naked put that are both, say, 70, or actually, sorry, more like 90% in this case, probability of profit, or I don't want to throw around that term, but a 0.10 delta, so very low probability. Next, DJT. This was another one, guys, honestly, some of these positions, right, like this week was a lot of stocks that the reason it was so juiced up is because there were so many of these kind of like gimmicky stocks that were moving a lot. And what I was doing is I was just going so far out of the money that I felt confident enough to take a big position. I'm not necessarily recommending you guys do that, though. So, and again, guys, if you do join my newsletter, not all of the positions are super juiced up, kind of like temporary meme stocks. So don't think that that's all I'm trading. AMD. So AMD was just, shares I was holding, and I was writing covered calls. It's just a nice way to generate passive income each week. A&F, actually I have this labeled as a covered call, but it was actually a naked call. So that was a short strangle along with the put, and more DJT, right? Because, the election was kind of just, we were in the kind of like the week or two after the election, and DJT was pretty volatile. So I was writing super far out of the money naked calls. Again, I'm not saying this is textbook trading, but the end result was still very good, right? So on the put side, on the call side, we did about 32K, and then I did around 39K on the put side. And then this 11K was just money that I made from being assigned shares on naked puts and then flipping them for a profit, right? So I got assigned a put, I own the shares, and then I flipped it at a higher price. And that totaled out to be roughly 83,000. So if you guys, hopefully this gives you an idea of kind of like what a week looks like and what I'm doing. Again, I'm not saying that this is by any means a typical week in terms of the underlying stocks that I'm trading these strategies on, but this was a particularly juicy week. It made for a good video. I figured you guys would be entertained with it. And maybe in the next one, I'll go over kind of like a calmer week with safer stocks and maybe like how you guys can turn those into spreads and make them more friendly for a small account. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this one. By the way, why do you guys care so much if I'm wearing a shirt? Just leave it alone. I'm channeling the Andrew Tate energy, and you guys just don't understand it. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to talk to you guys in my Discord. Peace.